Hello. Welcome, everyone. So, thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We're really glad to have you here. My name is Annija. I will be the moderator of this webinar today, and I'm head of operations here at LMT IoT. And as you saw already from the name, that today's topic that we will cover is all about the low power cellular IoT. So basically, this is what we work here every day at LMT IoT. And basically, what we'll try to cover is what it takes to build connected products that work reliably. So basically, to go deeper into that, why they are more complex than they look from the first sight. So where is the complexity? Where comes the challenges, and how to overcome them? So basically that is what we will cover today. But while we still wait for people to connect, the first thing that came to my mind is how to greet you. Should I say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening even? Maybe we could try to test the chat and see where are you connecting from. So where are you coming from? So if you could write in chat, and let's see from what part of the world are you. So I guess there are a lot of fellow Latvians here who are watching us, but I guess there should be as well someone from abroad. So as you know, people usually when they are connecting from other parts of the world, they talk about the weather, because in one place, Latvia, as I said, I know that someone is from Latvia. So basically that they talk about the weather. So whether it's sunny or rainy. So basically our Latvian summer is usually like a surprise to us when you wake up in the morning, that you never know what will happen, and how it will be. Please. I see that only one answer. Maybe some of you guys still could write in the chat so that we know it works. Great. One more, Latvia. Okay. I'm thinking about maybe I will switch to Latvian soon, if there are only people from Latvia. Okay. And if we see the locations, maybe we can test as well some emojis. So maybe you could paste what is the emoji. How are you feeling today? So basically, on our end, if I could paste the emoji, I would. Really, I guess the smiley emoji fits, because it's summertime, and that means that in June we have this Midsummer Festival. I know that not only in Latvia but as well in Lithuania and maybe some other countries. So some weekend and some holidays awaiting us ahead. And basically why I wanted to test the chat functionality, that later on, whether you are connecting from LinkedIn or YouTube live, you will. Oh, hi from Lithuania. Hi. Whether you're connecting from LinkedIn or YouTube, you'll be able to ask the questions, and then we'll have this interactive session as well. Yes. Yep. Okay, I guess we can then maybe go next and look at our agenda, and soon to welcome our webinar guest, because I will not be alone today. In a few moments we'll be meeting our webinar guest, Arturs, and get to know his background story and what he does here at LMT IoT. And then we'll dive deeper into challenges of low power IoT by watching a recent keynote session by Arturs. And then, as I promised, we'll go into live Q&A session where questions will be really welcomed. So this is the opportunity to understand more what we do on a daily basis, and we could share our experience. So so about our webinar guest today. So Arturs, he is the head of IoT business unit here at LMT IoT. And he has really years of experience with the cellular IoT. And Arturs is the one who is really going through field cases with our clients and gets to see all of the issues firsthand. So not only in theory, but really with talking with the customers and partners and but the mindset of Arturs, the good thing is that he sees that every issue as a new opportunity, how to find a way to grow his expertise and as well help clients. So I guess we are ready to meet Arturs. So great, the connection
Hi,
works.
Annija.
Hi. Good to see you. So I talked about you a little bit, but there is no one better, I guess, to talk about your background than you. So maybe, you could tell us a bit more. How did you get here, and how did you get to work with the IoT? And a bit more.
I heard that you started about our holidays right now in front of in the future days, and we're planning motorcycle trip with the guys, and we are going to live in a tent in the forest. And right now, I see a lot of videos coming up that there are bears detected in Latvian forest, so it gets me a bit anxious. But about my background, so I think I work with the telco company already for 6 years, and the last 3 years are with the low power cellular IoT with the hardware. And I think my background really fits this business domain because I have engineering background and I have business education, and this really links together the technical capabilities with the things that people really need, what businesses really need. And I think it's a great place to be and great place to create something new.
Okay. Yeah, sure it is. But now it's clear about you. But I guess the question.
I think we have some connection issues there. Annija, do you hear me?
Uh, yes, I can hear you. I guess there was a little error with connection.
Yeah.
So just as I was about to tell and ask you, so basically a lot of guys probably wonder what if we are a telecommunication company, basically how we ended up developing cellular IoT solutions and helping companies all over the world. Yeah, so maybe you could tell more about the guys who don't know us about this.
Yeah, probably, as you may know, the LMT is a leading Latvian telco operator, the mobile operator, with the core business of providing, basically, if you would say, SIM cards for the users and for sure other services as well. But our company is, I would say, unique in that case because many years ago we started to invest in different other business directions to expand our business portfolio, because the telco business is kind of limited within the geographical territory. So where you have cell towers, there you have a business opportunities, but and if you stick to that, you are limited to specific market. And creating something on top of the cellular network gives you opportunities to expand more, to grow larger, and that's how we ended up creating cellular IoT business division, which focuses on the development, basically full stack IoT solutions that are distributed not only in our main market, Latvia, but also far away from our home. So
Yeah. And that gives us as well an edge on the connectivity part, because that's our core and main thing we work on, and where we are strong and tend to be strong at. So yeah. Okay, so let's go deeper into the topic. So as I promised, next on our agenda, we will watch your recent keynote presentation, and and there you speak a lot about challenges of low power cellular IoT. So maybe you could tell, why is it important to talk about this now?
Yeah, I think a lot of things will be covered in the keynote session because this was the topic that was highlighted there. But I remember when I was writing some case study during the studies or something in 2018, the compound annual growth rate for the low power IoT devices was expected to be 109% until 2023. And right now, if you check currently this analytics, so right now it decreased for the future 3 4 years, like to 26%. And I think the numbers tells everything. So that there was a hype about IoT that low power devices will be everywhere in every corner of your room. But in the end, it resulted that this technology is not that easy to apply because it requires specific expertise and it contains many layers together that kind of limits to really practically implement this technology because the coverage is here, the chips are here, but it requires some big effort to do things, to create the end devices and to operate them reliably.
Yeah. So I know firsthand that Arturs had a lot of preparation for this keynote presentation. So a lot of efforts, a lot of facts, and then the analysis of real case studies as well. So yeah, the process was kind of worth the result, I think. Okay, so I guess then let's jump right into this keynote presentation. But before that, I still wanted to remind you that we will stay afterwards with Arturs for the live Q&A session. So basically, if you hear something in the keynote that you have questions about, or you just come up with the questions, you can write already in the chat, and we'll see them afterwards and then try to answer them. So yep, I guess we are ready to jump right into the keynote and see you in a bit, right after.
Arturs Lalovs, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to start with some entertainment. Hi, my name is Arturs, and as you can see, I'm not working only in business development at LMT, but also I'm skydiving instructor. And it took me almost 1,500 jumps to understand that complexity is not always visible from the outside. If you look at the skydiving, it looks simple. You just get in the plane, take your parachute, jump out, land. But in reality, safe jump consists of many interrelated layers, like equipment preparation, procedures, weather conditions, body control, altitude awareness, traffic control, and many more. And if only one of these layers is weak, the whole system becomes fragile. And the same I can relate to IoT products as well. If you look at a simple device like simple temperature sensor, it could be assembled by any hobbyist in a matter of days, just ordering some parts online and watching some YouTube tutorials. So it will work. It will show the value of the room. But when we speak about connected devices, let's imagine that we need to place it, for instance, in a refrigerated truck that is moving around. Now we need to connect it to the mobile network. Now the complexity changes differently. Now you need to find a modem. You need to develop embedded firmware. You need to develop communication logic. You need to store your data somewhere. You need a cloud solution. You need a cloud protocol. You need a mobile connectivity itself. You need an antenna and tune it properly. You need to manage this device from somewhere. You need to represent the data somewhere. And if only one of these layers is weak, the whole system becomes fragile. And you will not get your temperature readings as well. And it's not only any more job for one hobbyist, it requires also some versatile team with different experts like hardware engineer, firmware engineer, cloud architect, backend developer, front-end developer, connectivity expert, security expert, and many more. And by that I want to highlight the problem that is actually existing in the IoT, because coverage is here, chips are here, and the most important, there are a lot of use cases that could benefit from this technology. But it's still lagging behind the forecasts. And this is due to this complexity, because companies are not able to focus on their use case or their business value. They need to focus on these different technical layers and go through them to enable this technology that just has to be a tool for them. And I can also share a bit of our experience as well.
in 2020, we decided to build simple device, smoke alarm, but with mobile connectivity to provide remote alerts, remote monitoring. And for us as connectivity experts, we thought we're gonna launch it in maximum 1.5 years. So it's easy game, so nothing, not rocket science. In reality, it took us 4. And that's the difference. And we had all the team, all the partners in place, and this complexity actually came in 2 layers. The first one is the prototype. In the software world, you can reach prototype stage really quickly. Just design some Figma prototype or wipe code something, and you can get already valuable insights before you even invest in development. In the connected hardware, it's different. You need to build all these layers I mentioned, at least to some extent, to only start meaningfully test the device. And then there comes second wave, the deployment itself. Because when you deploy the device, other type of questions start to matter, like how does it behave in different buildings? How does it behave in a weak or unstable signal? How does it behave in different countries with different network configurations? How does the battery life behaves in the real environment, not in the lab tests? And this was the pain we were going through during these 4 years. And I still remember the meeting with our hardware engineer. That day, the guy never smiles, very serious, focused on his work. And during that day, there was a clear message from our stakeholders that, come on, guys, we're not able to launch every next device in 4 years, so we need to move faster, much faster. Even 2 years is too much. And then we started to think, how can we achieve that? The Walters told me, one engineer can, what one engineer can do in 1 month, 2 engineers can do in 2 months. So, and it's really true, because it wasn't about to work with a larger team or hire more or outsource something or work longer hours. It was about to reduce this complexity, because it depends on many these interrelated layers. You cannot just pick one and develop. And that's when the idea of something modular came into our minds. And not only hardware, not only firmware, not only connectivity, not only device management platform, but all together combined as a one-piece building block for cellular connectivity. And that's how we ended up developing IoT Shortcut. That is this building block, and you can really quickly get to the prototype stage without spending years to do that. And also, it's a solution for reliable scale. And I'm proud to say that it worked not only in theory, but in practice, because our next product was launched based on the IoT Shortcut in less than 1 year. And that time, Walter started to smile again, because his life as an engineer became more relaxed afterwards. And the good thing is that we also observed that we're not the only ones who suffer from that, because there are a lot of companies who are really experts in their domain, and the cellular technology can be beneficial for them, but it's too complex to implement that. And the typical example is Digital Yacht. We are cooperating with the guys from UK. They're really good experts at engines, vessels, onboard electronics, and they had a niche for the product for yachts which are not equipped with Starlink or 5G connectivity. So they wanted to create telemetry solution there with embedded connectivity. An alternative for them would be to go through all these steps alone, to hire the big team, large investments, long implementation times, or to use some ready component. And actually it worked out, because in less than half a year they went to the phase of working prototype, and right now they are on the way to commercialize this solution. So, sounds great. But then they started to ask us question, what happens when our yacht is going far away from the coastline? Another customer has asked, what happens with my soil monitoring solution when I place it in a remote field where there is no connectivity? What happens with various defense solutions which you place in the deep forest and there is no cellular connectivity? And we had to address this topic, because it actually puts a whole use case at risk, because if you develop your devices and you understand that few of them will not work, you probably would abandon this technology or will look for substitutes. And that's how we started our project with the European Space Agency and various satellite providers to enable this communication, satellite communication, our module. And we are not talking about the separate box that you plug to device to support satellite, or separate technological stack inside the device, or separate ecosystem as Starlink. So we're talking about the same modem, the same SIM card that works in both mobile and cellular connectivity. And I would say we are on the way to solve that, but it comes with a cost, because low power cellular IoT satellite communication, it makes you disciplined there, because throughput is lower, latency is higher, and every byte matters there. Of course, this infrastructure is evolving because it was standardized only recently, and we need to address that. And then we start to think how we can make our devices intelligent enough, but maintain this data discipline. And that's where our first thoughts about Edge AI came. That could help us out. And here's just a simple example of audio sensor that's processing audio signal. And you can see, obviously, if it generates raw data, it's 2.7 gigabytes per day. But by Edge AI, you can reduce it by only bytes per day. That is really suitable for the satellite communication. And again, the philosophy there, to send the data to the cloud to decide whether there was something important, might be wrong, because you are looking for these important events there. And we started to look for the partner who has expertise in this domain, and that's how we met Infineon. I think Jerzy was presenting this a few presentations ago as well. And I remember meeting in Texas with the global IoT director, Gregory from Infineon, and he described this new concept of new device, how they would look like. And I really like this example. I want to share it with you. So the sensors are eyes and ears. Edge AI is the brain, and the connectivity is the voice. Without sensors, device is blind and deaf, so there's nothing to process. Without Edge AI, it has no judgment. Imagine that you're going to speak out loud right now, everything what you see and hear, and expect the person in front of you would understand what was important in your speech. And it's exactly the same when we send all the raw data to the cloud to make decision there. And without connectivity, so the device becomes isolated. Again, example, you have very, very good thought, and it could be relevant for everybody in this audience, but you are not able to share it. It's a pity. So, and especially with satellite, it gives you a very tiny communication window where you need to formulate your thought very well. And that's how this combination of technologies really comes together for the future devices. Additionally, it's not enough to create intelligent device once and ship it to the customer. So it will become outdated very fast. So you need to maintain it over lifetime. So you need to provide firmware updates. You need to retrain your model. You need to gather your sampling data from the real world. And that's how this ecosystem really supports each other. And I want to share also a few practical examples how it's already applied by some companies. So the one is the RailSense startup from Ireland, which are using exactly audio sensor I mentioned before. And they are measuring sound from the axles, bearing, engine, and detects anomalies there. And it's not a job for the simple logic, because it's not enough for them to send alarm when the decibels reach certain value. So they need to analyze repeatability, patterns, various environmental settings and adjust them, and only then they report the event. And here Edge AI really fits greatly. And communication serves as a path to inform users about required event, and also helps to maintain device up to date during its lifetime. Another example is WellPet, guys from Serbia developing intelligent dog collar. I believe there are many on the market right now with the GPS tracking, but the guys wanted to move forward and increase number of sensors there. So they have heart monitor, accelerometer, temperature monitor, microphone, GPS, and many more. And if we would imagine that we stream all the data from these sensors to the cloud to make decision there, we probably would need to attach car battery to the dog to sustain this power budget for the communication. Instead, they found a really nice sweet spot with the Edge AI, where they're processing all the data locally and send only important events to the cloud. And how these companies actually achieved so fast, because both of them, they got to the working prototype stage in a 2-3 months period, and it's a great success, and that's because we help them. With Infineon together, we launch a mentorship program that is supposed to provide these building blocks for the companies that could implement this technology in their use case, and instead of going them deep into all the technical layers, they can address the business problem directly. And if you are interested in this technology, or you know somebody who might be interested in that, or you just want to discuss jump with the parachute, I would be happy to meet everybody after this presentation. And as a summary, so let's imagine, remember the hobbyist who can assemble temperature sensor in his garage in a matter of days. So I believe if we do everything right and keep this development not only of technology, but also of enablers for technology use, we could achieve stage when the same hobbyist in his garage could build satellite connected, mobile connected, edge AI driven, intelligent device in a matter of days, just watching YouTube tutorials and ordering parts online. Imagine how many new use cases it would open and how many new businesses it will create. So in IFE skydiving, we say the sky is the limit. For the IoT, I honestly believe that it's the only beginning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arturs. Amazing to see how LMT is developing and growing. So I have to ask, what is the end game for this IoT way for LMT?
Yeah, I think there is no end game, so it's the constant development. And a few days ago, we got a chip summit when we signed a memorandum of chip manufacturing. So probably we're gonna integrate more vertically and go next step there. So, and later on, maybe we're gonna launch our satellites. Who knows?
Getting more and more sovereign here in Latvia as well,
Exactly.
producing the stuff that we need.
Yes.
Awesome. Arturs, thank you very much for being a part of Deep Tech Atelier. Arturs Lalovs.
Thank you, virtual Arturs, and how it is to look at yourselves, from the side.
Thank you for the virtual audience as well. That was interesting to watch again, the keynote. But I think it was good. So I still believe in all the things I said there. So
Okay, that's good. So then I'll just remind that you can ask your questions in LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook Live regarding the keynote, or maybe some other questions regarding this topic of low power cellular IoT. But while we wait for the questions, I have some questions from my side to you, Artur. So we both know very well our experience with smoke detector, which as well you shared in the presentation. So maybe you could share a bit what would you do differently if you were starting with the smart smoke detector product today?
I think at that time, what I would do differently, so I would use modular solutions definitely right now. But at that time when we started to do it, I think they were not available on the market. So, and the only way to do that was to go through all this hustle on our own. And that's why I highlighted the importance of not only technology development, but also of development of enablers, that businesses could use this technology in their really daily operations, in their daily routine, not having or developing some extra competency that they're going to use only for one product. And I think this is good learning. So as you mentioned initially, that every problem might be treated as opportunity. So, and this was a great opportunity to learn, actually. So it was a great experience where we ended up with a great products, with a great solutions, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so if we had the IoT shortcut at the time, then it would all be a bit different story. But maybe you could tell more about the IoT shortcut. So basically, it was created for companies to avoid rebuilding the same complex layers again and again. But maybe you could comment on like which layers of the IoT stack create the most complexity when built from scratch.
I think that there is the thing what is specific for cellular IoT device that I think it was also mentioned during the presentation that all these layers are interrelated. I believe for somebody it would be easier to build some software layer. For somebody it would be easier to make a good hardware design. For somebody it might be easy to build a firmware layer, or for somebody it would be easy to maintain connectivity. But in reality, when you deploy device, you understand that all of them matters and they're equally important. And the most important is that they have to work really well all together. So you cannot really develop good hardware and so firmware and cloud solution and expect that this device will be reliable. So if only one of these points will be weak, so it won't work at the scale.
Yeah. Sure. But basically, so if a company who is listening right now, who is thinking, okay, I'm strong in connectivity, or I have a good electronics team, but still there is a part missing. So they come to us, and in practice, what does it mean? How we can help companies? What does the process look like to get from this starting point to what you showed in your keynote presentation? How can they get there?
I think the great opportunity what IoT Shortcut provides is really quick prototyping, because this is the first step for any product, for any idea validation, and any concept validation. And the sooner you come to the meaningful result, the less investments you would need to spend on that. And I think this is the main first step where you need to evaluate your idea. And we also created the evaluation kit, which is really extended version of the IoT shortcut, where you can plug wires inside and really connect physical sensors there and really get to the prototype validation, like physical prototype validation in the field. You can place it somewhere, you can attach batteries and really run it in the real conditions. I would say in a matter of days, weeks, or even months if it's more complex solution. So depending on what you are willing to connect there.
Yeah. So from the experience, it really depends on the company and on the need, how this process goes. And yeah, maybe we wanted to share as well the QR code. So basically, how do we do that? So the first meeting is where we gather your need, gather the requirements, and see what we can do about it, and see the pathway, what is the real practical steps. So basically the IoT shortcut, and what Arturs told in the keynote, that is how it was working for different companies, but basically for every company the story is different. So if you have even any idea in head, or something resonated with you, then just book a meeting, and Arturs will be happy to share more, and then listen to your story and understand how can we help you.
But
Uh,
here I want to add to the previous question as well, sorry, because it's not only prototyping tool. So it is the one of the options that IoT Shortcut provides you. But additionally, you can use the same solution for the scaling, because we, as a creator of end devices, so we right now currently operate in the field thousands of devices. So we know what it means and what kind of things are related to that process. So and the IoT shortcut is built with a mindset of scale as well. So it's not only for the prototyping. That's important to understand.
yep, yep. Okay, let's see if we have any questions from the audience. Okay, so we have the first question. So, yeah, what is one mistake to avoid when going to launch a product with cellular connectivity? I guess from your experience, you have a lot of those.
Only one.
Only one.
No, actually, as I mentioned, so that there is a big difference between lab prototype operation and the device on field. If we can reflect on our smoke alarm example, so we got some new knowledge only when we launched a few thousand of devices in the market. Then we started to see some other layer of problems, and like battery operation in the real environment conditions. So and we couldn't evaluate it in the lab, so it was perfect in the lab. But as soon as you deploy, you understand the signal is not that homogeneous everywhere. So the user behavior might be different. And one mistake, so I think you should focus on the prototype testing, not only in the lab, but also bring it to your customers and as soon as possible. This is the most important. Not spend years in developing perfect solution, but do it as fast as possible, bring it to the customers, make them test, and only then proceed to fine-tuning the solution. I think this is the core. I wouldn't say it's our mistake, but it's a really significant step in development of IoT devices.
It's not a mistake, it's just a time economy, because you'll still reach those on at a later stage. It will cost more, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Then I'll see. Oh, here are the question. So, yeah, what are some emerging trends that you have observed in the field of IoT recently? I guess the keynote was a bit about this, but maybe something more to add.
I think right now what we hear like in terms of buzzwords or SGP32, NTN, and Edge AI. So this would be top three trends that are currently hot. So they're not probably wide scale applicable yet, but they're developing right now. And SGP32 is it states for the standard for SIM cards when in ideal world you would not need to replace any SIM cards depending on the region, but you could do everything remotely and download any operator profile whenever you need it. So but of course it takes time until whole ecosystem grows up to commercially usable layer level. And regarding satellite connectivity, yeah, I think it solves the really pain of cellular connectivity because right now the cellular connectivity is still not 100% covered. Not whole 100% of the world is covered. So there are still spots where there is no cellular connectivity, and it's not feasible to implement it that because the cell tower costs a lot, to install it. And the satellite connectivity, I think it's a really big trend that would open up new use cases that were not available for cellular only before. So, and we are actively working towards that as well. And I think that this push was because the finally NTN communication was standardized by 3GPP, and it gives for the whole ecosystem players, so some legitimate reason to invest in this industry and develop launch satellites and build solutions around that.
I wanted a follow-up question on this before we move to the next, because on our side as well, we talk a lot about Edge AI satellite, and as it was in the question stated, trends, but trends come and go. And one thing you mentioned that the satellite is the one trend you believe to stay a long term and not be just a buzzword. Maybe there's something else you see that is an emerging maybe trend, and maybe not even a trend, but something that will be like a long term opportunity where the market is maybe slowly moving, and that will not stay only as a trend, as a buzzword, but is a real thing.
I think, yeah, as I mentioned previously, the third one is the Edge AI because devices. So we expect more and more from our devices, not only send one temperature reading, but do something with that reading and do autonomously. And here, I think Edge AI is something that might shift devices to some not only monitoring devices, but to intelligent acting devices. So, but there is road to go still, and. But I believe Edge AI will take some place in the IoT field.
Okay. So let's move to the next question. Okay, about the mentorship program which we launched recently. So is it for startups only?
The mentorship program, maybe a few words about that. So together with Infineon, I think during the keynote there were mentioned a few use cases already where this technology combination is used. We are launching it to provide these building blocks for any company, not only startups. So basically, if you see that you can get out value of Edge AI and cellular connectivity combination, so you're free to apply, and we're going to support you with the evaluation kits and with some engineering hours as well to help you out to move faster to your solution, to your product.
Okay. Yeah, great. Here you see as well the QR code. When you scan it, you can read more about the mentorship program, and yeah, more details here in the landing page. So yeah, feel free to scan and see what it offers in more details. Okay, so we have one more question. Yeah, so how long does the entire implementation process take for a new client from testing to full deployment? I guess this is a hard one to answer.
Yeah, it's a hard one, but there is some typical, I would say, same timeline for the customers because usually it takes up to 1 month for some meaningful prototype development. So when you understand what kind of solution you need and how it would look like, what kind of sensors you're going to attach there, and so on. Later on, there comes some commercial prototype phase, I would say 2-3 months, where you build with some first casings in some custom form factor. already with the custom carrier board, then you test that one, and then the third iteration comes to the full product with ability to scale your manufacturing as well. I would say, yeah, it's half a year to year, depending on the complexity of the solution and the resources customers are ready to allocate for development.
Yeah, and as well the experience of the company and
Exactly,
brilliance of the product. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we have some more questions. Oh, here it is. What would you recommend to a team that has a strong use case but does not yet have a full hardware, firmware, cloud, and connectivity team?
Yeah, I think the keynote answered that. So you're a perfect match for the IoT shortcuts. So because it has all of that inside, and you are welcome to apply for the mentorship program. So we would be really happy to support you.
So maybe a bit more returning to a practical step and maybe getting to the finish line of our Q&A session. So once again, if a company is watching this and thinking that this is relevant, one thing that we clarified is book a meeting with Arturs. That is the first step we got there. But maybe you could tell more about the practical steps as well as the preparation from the company side. What would the first steps be? How should you come, like not prepared for the meeting, but maybe some insights of what readiness level do you need to have, or yeah.
I think it's since IoT shortcut, it's pretty full solution that contains everything, so you don't need any deep expertise or something. I think the most important is the use case, because I would start from the technology fit evaluation first. So because definitely the LP1 technology is not for the high definition video streaming or some large data transfer or something like that. So first of all is the use case where you really need this low power capabilities, and if the use case is really good, I think it's not a problem to find the resources and to develop the meaningful solution. So depending on your expertise level, definitely it would be nice if the team has already some hardware expertise, firmware expertise, or some experience of building some electronic products previously. But wouldn't say that it's really mandatory, because if it's really good use case, we believe in that, so we're gonna allocate some support there as well.
Yep. So yeah, I guess then that answers that. So basically, think on your side about the use case, about where would you like to use it, and then yeah, we are really happy to help both with our business knowledge of the connectivity domain, as well the engineering knowledge. So basically all around to understand how we can help you. But I guess yeah, with this question, we could conclude our session today. And thank you really for joining. And we hope that you found the session really useful and gained a clearer view of what we do and how IoT Shortcut works, and maybe gain some insights on how it can help you and your company. So yeah, and from those who didn't know, as this was our first webinar, we would really appreciate your feedback, and we want to hear your thoughts of how did you like this webinar, or maybe some insights on the topics that you would like to hear from us in the future webinars. So if you could take some few minutes to fill out this feedback form, we would really appreciate it. So yeah. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see you in our next webinars really soon. And yeah, but while we work on the webinars, the most latest information on what we are doing and what are the latest updates you can see in our LinkedIn profile. So follow us, and see you in our next webinars really soon. So yeah, thank you, and bye.
Thank you, Annija. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Arturs. Bye.